Today we're going to be talking about whether you should get gold, the old-fashioned kind of alternative currency, or Bitcoin. That's actually an interesting thing. So let's look at the pluses and negatives of both. Now, when it comes down to gold, it has been around for thousands of years. It has never been worth zero. Never. It's always been worth something. And now all the criticism comes from the fact that gold doesn't provide you with a yield. It's not like if you have a commercial or residential property and if you're paying rent, or a business that has revenues, there's no revenues when it comes down to gold. But that's not really the point of gold. The point of gold is that it's when you have your currency going down in value, gold it protects you from that, mainly because the central printers, they can't print gold. Your government cannot print gold, and it's actually very hard to produce gold. It takes a certain amount of ingenuity, effort, a lot of labor, and those costs get reflected in the price of gold. So there's never going to be a time where people can just produce a ton of gold and flood the market and make it worthless. That just won't happen unless maybe the gold is stored on some asteroid or meteorite somewhere, and maybe that's possible. But at the moment, we're dealing with the issue of paper currencies, and people want to know, how do I protect myself from paper currencies that are obviously going down in value? So gold, the plus is that it's never been worth zero. It has a certain kind of, it's difficult to make gold, let's put it that way. Now the negatives are that it's very hard to store gold. For one thing, look at these properties here. Do you think they want to store gold here in the properties? Probably not. I actually know someone who lost a ton of money because they stored gold at home. You don't want to do that, so you do have to pay a storage cost if you buy gold. There are a lot of gold repositories where you can pay a fee every month or on a yearly basis and have your gold stored there. And I think that's definitely the way to go if you're going to do it. Some people buy it on exchanges. You can buy the ETF called GLD. That's another way of owning gold, but there's issues with that because you're still owning only paper right to gold. You're not really owning the gold per se. I think you should definitely own the gold, not some just paper right to it. So that's off topic. But the most important thing is that gold is definitely an alternative way of protecting your assets. Now the negatives are, it costs a lot of money to store the gold. And the other negative is that the tax rate for selling your gold at a profit are at a disadvantage too. It's a higher rate than capital gains. The other thing is that if you, let's say you want to travel and you have your, you can't really travel with your gold with you. Let's say you want to go to a different place far away. What are you going to do? Put your gold in your bag? So it doesn't really work very well on that scale if you have a lot of money. Now Bitcoin, it actually is very, very different. Now since it's only been around for a short time, we can't say anything about the historical value of it or whether it has any inherent value whatsoever. I mean, from what I could see, when you really think about it, it's just a right to some code almost. And so there's some negatives to it, but the positives are that it's they have an inherent system that prohibits it from exceeding 21 million units. So at least they thought about the issue of inflation, and it's not possible for it to be beyond that. Now, of course, you could say, yeah, but Michael, there's a million cryptocurrencies, so what kind of limit is there? There's no natural limit like gold, where there's a natural limit, and that is an issue. With Bitcoin, there are other coins, and we don't know if those have any inherent value. And so the problem with Bitcoin is that it hasn't been around long enough for us to really come up with a conclusion whether it has real value long term. Whereas we do know that gold has value. It's never been worth zero. So if you buy it and you store it, it's never going to be worth zero. You can be assured of that. So my own view is that if you have a ton of money, if you have billions, and you don't obviously want it all stored in the stock market or treasuries or something like that, you probably should just I would put more probably into gold than the crypto does, because the issue is that crypto has been around less time, so it's more fragile because we don't really know what it's worth. and for all we know, it will go down 100%. Like Jim Rogers said, it's not worth anything. So that might very well be true. So I think on balance, it just really depends on how much money you do have. If you have a lot, you probably should put in gold. If you like the idea of speculating on what can happen, I think crypto has incredible opportunities and could go up potentially more than 100%. No, not more than 100 times in several years, whereas I don't think gold will do that in a few years. So that's another advantage I think that crypto has over gold. On balance, I would really like to know what you all think, whether you like gold or crypto, or you like both. I look forward to hearing your comments below, and subscribe. See you in the next video.